Hey everybody, welcome back to my channel. My name's Alyssa and today we are talking book content. I'm so excited for this. I got into reading probably last year in the summer, probably this time last year, and I actually hated reading growing up. So this was a totally new area for me. And so today we're going to be talking about all of the books that I read so far this year, basically January through March. If you see me looking down, I have my Goodreads account pulled up so I can see and remember what I rated everything. And for starters, we're going to start with Twilight. Now, I love these movies, okay? I grew up watching the movies, just never got into reading, like I said, until last year. And of course, when I wanted to start reading, this was the first one that I picked up. If you don't know anything about Twilight, I don't know how. You may be living under a rock. I literally don't know. But if you somehow do not know anything about Twilight, it's a love triangle, okay? Between our main character, Bella, Edward, the vampire, and Jacob, the werewolf, okay? Fantastic. Listen, the movies, I get it. They're a bit cringe, maybe a little more than a bit, but the books were phenomenal. This one is definitely one of my favorites out of the whole saga. And I love her writing. I would love to read more by Stephanie Meyer. Highly recommend. I rated this 5 stars. Then, of course, we move on to New Moon, the second in the series. So this one kind of goes more into Jacob and Bella's relationship. I loved it, okay? I actually hate the second movie. I just think Jacob's so annoying and Bella's just depressed the whole time. And so reading the book, I really had low expectations going into it, and it turned out to be one of my favorites. You really got to dive deep into their relationship and see just how intense it was and how close they were, even just as friends. I also gave this one 5 stars. I don't know if you're starting to see a trend here. The third book, Eclipse. This one was actually my favorite in the whole series. I loved all of the action in this book. They continue to get a bit more hefty. This is the second book. Yeah, they're pretty thick, I'm not gonna lie. But the action really just stole it for me in this one. As well as you got to see more into the backstories of the whole Cullen family, which was awesome. And you also get to see Bella and Edward's relationship develop a bit more and things like that. Then in the fourth one, I have some mixed feelings. Oh, I forgot to say, I rated this one, Eclipse, 5 stars, obviously. This one, Breaking Dawn. So the movies are split up into 2 parts, and I really didn't know what to expect because obviously I'd seen the movies first, and I knew if you know what happens in the end of Breaking Dawn Part 2, then you kind of see where I'm going with this. I'm not trying to give any spoilers away. But I heard that it was kind of different in the book, so I was interested to see what happens. And I'm not gonna lie, it felt like towards the end, it was a whole lot of standing around and doing nothing, which I wasn't a huge fan of. I think there was a little more action in the movie. So this one, it just seemed a little bit more drawn out to me. There was a lot of detail though, which was nice. Still rated at 5 stars because I'm obsessed with Edward and Bella and Jacob and the whole saga. But yeah, a little boring. Glad I read it though. I do own Midnight Sun. I have not read it yet, but I do plan on reading it, which if you don't know, Midnight Sun is basically the first book in the saga, but written in Edward's point of view instead of in Bella's point of view. I haven't gotten to it. I needed a little break. And so to take a break from this saga, I read Paper Towns by John Green. So in this book, we have our main character, Quentin Jacobson. And he's a senior in high school, and he's in love with this popular girl who happens to be his neighbor, like his whole life. Okay, they grew up beside each other. Her name is Margot Roth Spiegelman. And one night she like comes in, this happens in the beginning of the book, it's not a spoiler, I promise. She comes into his room and she's like, let's go, we're going on an adventure, we're gonna go do a bunch of crazy stuff, right? So they go do that, and then the next day she disappears. No one knows why. But she left clues, and he is one of the only people who finds the first clue and decides to go try and find her, right? Very interesting. The ending was not what I expected it to be. I will say I did not predict the ending. Nor did I like the ending. I am just a sucker for happy endings. I'm not saying that this wasn't a happy ending. It was more of like a just kind of mixed feelings. It just left me kind of confused on how I felt about it ending. I did enjoy it. I thought it definitely had some action in it. There were some parts where I actually laughed out loud. A little bit of romance, which I really liked. I rated this one 4 stars. I definitely recommend it. It was a pretty quick read. I finished it in a couple days. And I definitely want to read more by John Green. A lot of his books were really popular when I was in high school, but like I said, I wasn't into reading. So hopefully we'll be reading more from him soon. The next book I read, actually the next 2 books I don't have on me because I was so obsessed with them. I have been passing them around to everyone at my work so they can all read them so I can talk to them about it because I'm obsessed. So the first one I read was Verity by Colleen Hoover. If you have not heard of this book, okay, it's insane, right? Easy 5 stars for me. It had romance, it had suspense, it was thrilling. I finished it in a day and a half. I couldn't put it down. It was insane. Okay, so we have our main character, Lowen, who lives in, I want to say New York, and she's a struggling writer. Well, she has this opportunity come up to basically ghostwrite for a famous author who is Verity. Verity got into an accident and she's no longer to be able to finish out her contract. And so her husband and the, like, I guess production team, her producers, the people she has a contract with, hire Lowen as a ghostwriter. And so she goes to their house to go in her office and basically try and get notes or anything that could, I guess, help her write these books. And she finds a manuscript, which is like, it is Verity's autobiography, basically. And let me tell you, there is some wild, messed up stuff that she reads in that manuscript. And so she's struggling like, oh my gosh, what do I do? Do I tell somebody? Do I tell the husband? Who knows? You'll have to read it and find out. Like I said, I rated it 5 stars. It was incredible. I highly recommend literally everyone to read it. And I'm team manuscript. Just gotta put that out there. The next one I read was also another Colleen Hoover book. If you haven't heard of it, like I said, you probably have been under a rock, I swear. It's called It Ends With Us. Wow, that book. I didn't cry like a lot of people have said that they did. I didn't cry. It just didn't hit me like that, but whatever. So we have our main character, Lily, who lives in Boston, and she meets Ryle one night on a rooftop. And Ryle is this hot guy, neurosurgeon. I mean, he has got it all, okay? And so you have that, right? But then you're also getting flashbacks of her first love when she was growing up. And they may or may not meet up again later on in the book. And so it kind of goes on between, you know, you think by me saying that it would be like a cliche, oh, who she has to pick between, you know, her first love or current love or whatever. That's not really how it is. And the plot twists in this book, wow. Did not guess the ending, did not guess any of the plot twists. It was a roller coaster, okay? An absolute roller coaster. Highly recommend it. Like everyone says, check the trigger warnings before you read it. Because there are some scenes in there that are a little bit graphic, I will say. And it just may not be for everybody. I rated that 5 stars. Phenomenal book. Again, it's at my work because I've been passing it around to everybody, forcing them to read it so I can talk to them about it. The next one I read is Matched by Ali Conde. Now, this book I wanted to read, I think I bought it back in middle school or high school. And it's a trilogy, and I bought all 3 books. And I only read the first one and never continued reading from there. So I was like, I need to pick these up again. This is about Cassia, something like that. And she basically is in this society, and it's very much a dystopian world, right? It had a big global warming theme, and now the society basically controls everything. And everybody is the same, and you have to follow all of the society's rules, and you basically don't get any choices. Like no freedom of choices whatsoever. And so I really like the dystopian setting. There's also some romance in it, and it's like a love triangle, you know. Does she go with the guy she's supposed to be with, the guy that she knows, the guy that's comfort and safe, or does she go with the rebel who she's not supposed to be with, society says she's not supposed to be with, all that good stuff. So I really enjoyed this. I rated it 4 stars. It was an easy read, pretty quick. I definitely think it's young adult, right? It's young adult. So there were some parts where I was cringing a little bit, I'm not gonna lie, because it kind of reminded me of, yeah, if I read this in middle school, then I'd probably be all for it. Probably would rate it 5 stars. I just think now that I'm 22, it may have been a little bit young. Still a great book, though. Still a great book. Then I DNF'd a book. Can't lie. Can't. The Lightning Thief by Riordan. Percy Jackson. I loved this movie. Loved it. So I'm like, oh, I have the book. I think I found it at like Goodwill or something. So I saw it, picked it up. I was like, I have to read it. I love the movie. I'll probably love the book. Wrong. And I don't know if it was just the timing. Like maybe I just wasn't in the mood for a child's fantasy book. Because it is, like, it's very, I mean, he's 12 years old in the book. Like, I just couldn't relate to anything. And I don't know. Maybe it just was timing, or maybe it's just too young for me in general that I couldn't get through it. I'm telling you, I literally maybe got through 50 pages and I'm falling asleep. I was like, I can't do this anymore. I may give it another try at some point. We'll see. We'll see. And then the last book that I read in March. Oh, no. Not the last book I read in March. Just kidding. After that one, I read The Silent Patient, which I don't have that one either. Who is that by? Silent Patient by Alex Michaelides. If you haven't heard of this book, where have you been? Again, it's another one of those super hyped on Book Talk and BookTube and all that good stuff. I borrowed it from a friend. Thank you, Mallory. Very happy that I got to read that book. Phenomenal. Highly recommend to everybody. Let me set the scene for you, all right? This is a thriller, right? Suspense. So this woman, I forgot her name. She is married. Happy marriage, happy life, blah, blah, blah. Okay, she's a painter. One day, shoots her husband in the face 5 times and then goes silent. Nobody knows why. And she's silent for like, what? I think it picks up 6 years later. Yeah, hasn't said a word. Crazy. So then there's this psychotherapist named Theo, and he's like, I think I can get her to talk. I need to break through to her and figure out why she isn't speaking, what happened, what's her side of the story, all this good stuff. So you go through the present time whenever he's trying to talk to her in the psychiatric facility that she's in. And then you also go to back in the past, like you're reading her, she keeps a diary. So you're reading her diary of before all of this happened. And let me tell you, I did not even come close to guessing this plot twist. Not even close. If you guessed it, congratulations. I'm not one of those people. I read it and had to reread it. I'm like, there's no way. What did I just read? What just happened? Incredible. Incredible. I never saw it coming. And apparently for this author, this was like his first book or something like that. He did a great job. Highly, highly recommend. I give that one 5 stars too. So now the last book that I read in March is Crossed, which is the second book in the Match series. I can't say too much about this book because it will basically give away what happens in the first book. It was okay. This one I rated 3 stars. It was fine. It was just a bit drawn out. Like, it felt like there was a good chunk in the middle of the book where nothing happened. I mean, it felt like literally nothing happened. They were just in the same place for 150 pages or 100 pages, just doing nothing, making no progress, going nowhere. And that kind of dragged on. And I'm not gonna lie, it took me a while to get through this book just because it kept dragging. I still have Reached, which is the 3rd one in the series that I do plan on reading, as well as some other books. So that being said, if you like this video and you want to see more book content, please give this video a thumbs up and subscribe. I am super excited to read more books and show you what I will be reading in the future. I will leave my Instagram down below, as well as my Goodreads account if you want to follow me on Goodreads and keep up with what I'm reading when I'm reading it. What am I currently reading? Oh, where is it? It's over there. I'm currently reading Crave by Tracy Wolff. So yeah. I hope to see you again in the next video. Goodbye.